Hello everyone, I'm Elizabeth Shaw and this channel is all about the narcissistic personality disorder and how to overcome narcissistic abuse. This video is about boundaries. So creating boundaries to start is extremely difficult. You might think you're turning into a narcissist. The narcissist has no boundaries, so will keep upping their games to try and step over yours, often leaving you full of self-doubt as they say things to you like you're awkward or you're being unreasonable. And then there's the you're just bitter and jealous, or one of their favourites, you're crazy, making you question your own choices and your own sanity. When it's not you that's the problem, it's them. They cannot handle people sticking up for themselves. It's their insecurities that cannot handle others being happy and moving on. They are saying these things to you to break down your boundaries and regain control over you. If something doesn't feel right or makes you unhappy, to say yes. If something doesn't give you that inner peace, you need to say no and stick to your no. Remember why you said no and don't let their words affect your answer. The problem is with them having no respect for another person's boundaries. The problem is not you. Most narcissistic people believe they are above the law. They want power and they want control over all others. They hate people setting boundaries on them. As soon as they step over one of your boundaries, they will go for another. The only way to stop this is to stop playing. Stick to your nose, stick to your boundaries. Often they'll not listen to court orders, and every time they break these, you need to take action and you need to call the authorities every time. Do not react to them. So how to create and stick to your boundaries. If you're still in the relationship, or if it's a work colleague, friend, family member, or if you're out of the relationship and you've got one of the narcissistic people that is still coming at you, you have most likely found it extremely difficult to set and stick to your boundaries. If it wasn't your parents that were the narcissist, think back to what your standards, beliefs and values were before you got into a toxic relationship and how they have changed. If you've stayed in a narcissistic relationship way longer than you should have, like most of us have, or if your parents were narcissistic, do you know what your boundaries are? Narcissists have a great many manipulative ways to break down other people's boundaries, from gaslighting to the silent treatment, blame shifting to triangulation. Sometimes they do it simply to amuse themselves, like jabbing you in the side or groping you hard, and then when you say to them, please don't do that, or stop, that hurts, they'll tell you things like, you're too sensitive, or my ex never minded. They'll sulk or go on the silent treatment, say things like, if you loved me, you wouldn't mind. They break down the smaller boundaries that you know other people might not have, and then go for the bigger ones. They are cruel and calculated, and they want to break down all your boundaries during and after the relationship. When you have to stand up to them, you might have physical and mental symptoms of anxiety, fear, dizziness, feeling sick, feeling scared, feeling confused about what's right and what's wrong. This is what the narcissist wants you to feel to remain in control over you. They will push and push and push to wear you down, to hurt you, to upset you, to confuse you. They do this so that you give up your fight, give in to them and accept defeat for an easier life, though it's not an easier life, as once they've got one, they do go after them all. Whenever you speak up for your beliefs, your values, your boundaries or your instincts, the narcissist will most often tell you that you're insecure, to fill you with that self-doubt and give in to them. Any weaknesses or fears you have, a narcissist will learn these and continue to use them against you to break you down even more. They will not soothe your fears. They'll do the best to make you fear more. They'll up their manipulation to leave you feeling worthless and full of self-doubt. They'll train you not to stand up for yourself through fear of their rage, through silent treatments, and often blaming their behaviour on something You did. So they will project and they will blame shift, leaving you feeling like you're to blame and full of self-doubt and more fear and more confusion. So how a narcissist does this, a narcissist will step over your boundaries. You may then stand firm with your boundary. A narcissist will then triangulate, blame shift, rage, gaslight, plead, push, provoke, prod, belittle you, silent treatment you. You then give up the fight as you're left hurt and confused and want to try and keep the peace. They then start with another boundary of yours, and the same pattern repeats until you lose the fight to stand up for yourself and set new boundaries in the first place. Basic boundaries to set up if you've not already got any. It's hard to set boundaries if you're a people pleaser. You need to understand that good people will respect and understand your boundaries. Setting good boundaries are amazing deal breakers to remove narcissistic people from your life. When you say no to a narcissist, that is a real deal breaker. Good people look inwards. Narcissistic people will blame you. Boundaries are for how much you give and how much you receive. They are things you wouldn't tell your children that you might tell your partner, things you'd tell your partner that you wouldn't tell your mother, and things like that. Things you do for those that you wouldn't do for somebody else. Boundaries vary from person to person. And as you know, a narcissist has no boundaries. They will tell children things that children shouldn't know. They will tell people things that you don't want people to know. They will not keep secrets unless it's their own. Building up your self-esteem will help you build up your boundaries. Knowing who you are, working on your inner self, what you do and do not feel comfortable with doing, listening and tuning into your instincts will help you with your boundaries. So 1, no contact or grey rock with those who've previously continued to hurt you and step over your boundaries. 2, giving them no reactions when they provoke you. Do not defend yourself or respond. They are not interested in this. They will use it to try and further manipulate you. 3, observe what they do. Do not absorb. 4, what are your core values? What do you feel comfortable and uncomfortable in doing? If something makes you feel uncomfortable, it needs to be a no. You do not need a reason other than you do not feel comfortable. 5, does something annoy you or irritate you? If it does, it needs to be a no. 6, are you fed up of loaning money or your car to certain people? Then it needs to be a no. If you're happy doing so with other people that do it in return, then it's a yes. Values vary between each individual person and what theirs are. Also, the person you are dealing with. So you might loan someone money who you know will pay you back, who you know will help you out, etc. Say no to those who you know are just constantly using you and letting you down. If someone crosses a boundary, remind them what they are. Good people will apologise. If they continue to cross them, you need to take action. If they show up for the children unannounced, don't answer the door. If they're not supposed to come near you and they keep doing so and you've got orders out on them, call the police. If they are late, allowing for traffic to collect children without letting you know, to set a time limit and go out. Next time they don't show or they're late, just go out. You've told them you've said you would. Do it. It's up to them. If they want to see the children, it's up to them to be there on time and see the children. Or with modern technology, pick up a phone and say, sorry, stuck in traffic, just pulled over, I'll be there in 10 minutes. It's not hard. It is hard for them. If they've borrowed money and never paid you back, don't loan them anymore. Be consistent. Make sure your actions match your words. If they keep trying to cross the same boundaries, let those people go. If someone will not respect your boundaries, you do not need them in your life. Are they taking more from you than they are willing to give? Do they constantly hurt you and constantly let you down? If that's the case, you do not need those negative people in your life. Some narcissistic people will up their games when you start putting boundaries into place. Do not give in. They will eventually give up. People test boundaries once or twice, whether they are narcissistic or not, especially young children. So things that you can control: your words, your ideas, your actions, your mistakes, your behaviour and your effort. And things that are outside of your control: other people's feelings towards you, others' intentions, others' actions, others' behaviours, others' mistakes, others' words. The only way you can control that is by not letting negative people that continue to hurt you, let you down and cross your boundaries into your life. You need to say no, and your no needs to mean no. So long as whatever you do has good intentions behind them, there is no right and wrong. Good people will respect and understand these. Toxic or narcissistic people will try to bring you down. Wherever you are in your journey of recovery after narcissistic abuse, keep going. People have got through this before you, and you can and you will get through this also. Please add anything in the comments that you think will help other people overcome this and move on to a much happier life. Thank you for listening. Bye.